Coherence is a film I only recently got around to watching, and it's one I highly recommend to you if you haven't seen it. It's from 2013, and it was directed by James Ward Burkett, who developed the story with his friend Alex Moonigan, who also stars in the film, incidentally. It's a micro-budget sci-fi movie that was shot over 5 nights, almost entirely in Burkett's living room, and it's a fantastic piece of indie filmmaking. I mean, the budget was just $50,000, and it shows what can be done with a great vision, talent, and ingenuity. As they say, necessity is the mother of invention. It is a sci-fi film, but it's also one of these psychological thriller horror movies. It's quite unnerving and creepy in places, and it's phenomenally executed. Burkett gets back to first principles, bare bones filmmaking, keeping everything simple. No elaborate filmmaking crew, and no script. The cast of actors improvised their dialogue, drawing only on note cards that Burkett and Moonigan would give them each day. Each actor had an outline of the main points they needed to hit with their characters, but they had no idea what the other actors had received on their note cards that day. This meant that the reactions and surprises were genuine and as natural as possible. So this film has been compared to Primer in that it's a low-budget sci-fi movie with extremely naturalistic performances. And I have to say, hats off to the cast. These 8 actors do an incredible job, and it must be an improv actor's dream to make a film like this, because they really have to fully throw themselves into their characters completely. Although there was no script, Burkett and Moonigan did have a treatment and story outline, so it wasn't made up as they went along, but they also were obviously relying on the abilities of the actors to carry the film, and they certainly did that. I mean, they really sell it. The film takes place at night. It's a dinner party with 8 friends meeting in a house. Some of them are meeting for the first time, but there's lots of tension going on because there's plenty of interesting interpersonal dynamics at play, which I think are the heart of the film. There's relationship issues there. One guy's ex-girlfriend shows up, for example, and it creates some awkwardness with the current girlfriend and so forth. And again, you really feel like a fly on the wall watching real events because the dialogue is so natural. Miller's comet is passing overhead, and there's a series of power cuts and other strange happenings, like people's phone screens randomly breaking. How odd. The internet goes down and there's no mobile phone service. Emily, the main character, suspects it's the effects of the comet, and she's been reading about the history of strange phenomena during comet passings. When there's a power cut, they decide to go outside and investigate, and they bring blue glow sticks. There's one house down the street that appears to still have power. Mike, played by Buffy's Nicholas Brendan, eventually gets the backup generator working and they have power again. Hugh and Amir venture down the street to the other house to discover that it's identical to their house. When they look in the window, they find 8 doppelgangers sitting inside. It's like an exact duplicate of their home, with the same occupants. It appears the comet has caused some kind of divergence in reality. There are now 2 parallel houses separated by a mysterious dark area on the street. But there's some peculiarities. Hugh and Amir discover a box at the other house containing photographs of each other and numbers written on the back, along with a ping pong paddle. It's kind of disturbing. What's all that about? Hugh's brother has written a book on quantum decoherence. There's a kind of Schrodinger's cat theory happening right now. The comet has caused 2 realities to form, and one of them is going to collapse by the time the comet passes. The question is, which one will survive the night? Meantime, the 2 houses have been coming into contact with each other, leaving notes on the front doors, and occasionally doing things like smashing windows. Why this is happening only becomes clear later in the film as temporarily out of sync events begin to line up again. Basically, the occupants of the houses are kind of mirroring each other's actions. When they see that the other house has made use of red glow sticks, they soon realize that some occupants now belong to the other reality. And it's all kind of got mixed up. But things get even weirder. The particularly dark region on the street functions kind of like a roulette wheel. Passing through this dark space sends you into one of several possible realities. Basically, there's more than 2 houses. And this is the reason the box with the photographs was made. Each house came up with a means of identifying itself by rolling a dice and assigning a random number to each occupant, and then including a random object. A ping pong paddle, a napkin, an oven mitt, a stapler. So I'm not going to spoil the ending because otherwise this review is just going to sound like a synopsis of the whole plot, and I've spoiled enough already. The film doesn't have any elaborate special effects, and yet it doesn't look cheap. It feels like how such a paranormal scenario might feel like in real life, if such a thing were possible. What makes it work is that the filmmakers made the best use of what little they had, and the cast is the film's biggest asset. The cozy dinner party vibe and relatable atmosphere fully pulls you in and immerses you, along with how natural the interpersonal dynamics are, while the power cuts, strange happenings, jump scares, and unnerving, creepy and cryptic occurrences keep you invested in finding out what's going on and how it's going to unfold. Improvisation was definitely the right choice for this film because it makes events feel grounded in reality, and the characters' reactions to all of the craziness feels believable because there's an unpredictability about their interactions which perfectly mirrors the unpredictability of the events taking place in the story. Coherence is essentially a variation on a haunted house themed movie, but wrapped up in a unique quantum mechanics sci-fi explanation. I think if all the dialogue had been scripted, the film and its concept would have lacked the immersion and grounded quality that makes the whole thing work in the first place. Given the subject matter and style of movie that Coherence is, entirely scripted dialogue could have potentially caused the film to fall into predictability, cliché, and even over-the-top melodrama. Instead, we get a masterclass in what great actors can do when a creative and visionary director has faith in their abilities. And just a reminder that this movie was made for only $50,000. And yeah, sure, it's a small film, it's an intimate movie that takes place primarily in one location, but it's proof to Hollywood, once again, that you don't need hundreds of millions of dollars to make a great movie and tell a fantastic story. I can't recommend Coherence highly enough, and I think it goes very well with a movie like Primer. Anyway guys, I'll leave it there for now. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, share this video out there. Take care, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.